the reaction on the on oil products, sa crudo, sa gasolina, sa LPG, at naramdaman na kaagad, and that's again expected. So we have put together some scenarios. We cannot know. We have heard many estimates kung gaano katagal ito. Ang naririnig natin coming out of the United States is 4 to 5 weeks. Hopefully, it will be less. And hopefully, before the 4 to 5 weeks, the level of intensity of the fighting will come down. In other words, that the commerce will proceed in a more or less normal way, number one. And secondly, that the oil production will start to normalize. And hopefully, of course, this is our hope, sooner rather than later, that this will happen. However, in the scenario that Dubai crude it comes between between $80 and $90 per barrel, and this lasts for 2 months, we have identified, and assuming that Iran exports continue, although I don't think that is a fair assumption anymore, because that's going to be the first place that people the attacks will occur. So the response of the government, some of the interventions that we are thinking about, is to have targeted fuel subsidies to the affected area, to the affected sectors, such as the transport sector, the agri-sector. The agri-sector comes into play because fertilizer is a petroleum derivative that comes from the oil, and for fisher folk. As soon as oil prices breach $80 per barrel, meron na tayong gagawin, and we will use several of the funds. We will use the funds. For example, we will use the Pantawid Pasada program and the subsidy for farmers and fisher folk. We are also trying to look at the possibility of easing the transport cost burden to workers, for the traveling public, providing maybe no fare bus rides along major routes, and maybe to hold fares down on the transport, our public transport facilities. And of course, we are now going to look for whatever subsidies we will need to provide, so that hindi naman masyadong maramdaman ng working public ang pangyayaring ito. There is also a proposal that we will examine further. I am going to talk to the leaders in both the House and in the Senate to maybe, this is not yet a sure thing, but this is something that we are discussing, and it could be helpful, is to give me, the President, the authority to reduce excise tax on petroleum products should Dubai crude exceed $80 per barrel. And that wala pa tayo doon. But if in case that happens, then maybe this is something that we will have to. This is one tool that we will have to have. So I will discuss it with the leadership of Congress, and to see, it is going to be an emergency measure. It is not going to be a permanent measure. It will be something that we will dispose of as soon as the crisis is over. And there has been a coordination between the Department of Energy and the oil companies that whatever price increases they are going to institute, that they be done in a staggered manner. Wag bigla, para hindi naman biglang tataas ang presyo ng petroleum products ng langis. Ito ay yung mga produkto na ginagamit ng taong bayan ay dahan-dahan lang paaakyatin, and that will hopefully that will hopefully become a little bit less less of a problem to our working public. The other area that we looked into are what will be the effect on the remittances, because this is something that will affect the families of those that are remitting funds from our workers in this part of the world. Karamihan ng remittances natin ay talaga diyan galing. Yan ang pinakamalaking working group natin na nandun. Hindi nila kasama ang pamilya nila kung hindi nagre-remit ng pera dito sa Pilipinas. It's a bit of a mixed bag in the sense that the remittances, again, it's very, very hard to make an estimate. Right now, most of these places, I would estimate, Sec Hans, would you estimate how many of the workers that are in the Gulf countries are presently working normally? Just a rough estimate.
I would say a substantial number, maybe around 80-85%, Mr. President.
That's what I'm getting. More or less 80 to 85%. Sinasabi nila, ang report nila sa amin, nagtatrabaho pa rin sila, na pumapasok pa rin sila. Kung hindi sila makapasok, meron silang mga work from home. So yun ang yun ang naging effect doon sa workforce natin sa iba't ibang lugar. The other effect of the other statistic which will have an effect on remittances is going to be the exchange rate between the dollar and the peso. So we will just have to watch that very, very closely and to see what the effects are. That's why tawag ko mixed bag. Halo-halo talaga. May aakyat, may bababa. Kasi kung umakyat ang peso, lumalaki ang remittance. Pero kung bababa naman, ang actual na dolyar na pinapadala dito, di bababa. We don't know where that balance is going to end as of now. So we are watching it very closely. And for those who are interested, there is some sensitivity analysis that we have done what the effect is per $1 of per barrel cost will be, and what the effects will be on inflation, what the effects with the DepDev is here. Sec Arce has provided us with some numbers, but these are very rough estimates on how it will affect the economy. So right now, again, the problem that we have is that it is a very fluid situation. Now it's a very volatile situation. The information that we are receiving is limited, as you can imagine, as it is a war zone right now. And so we have prioritized, of course, the safety of our people who are in the war zone. Number one, that's always the number one priority. And secondly, after that, what the effects will be to the working public here in the Philippines, and what are the interventions that the government can take up, which I have laid out for you in a general sense. So we will have more I think each of the departments will, as we find out more, which of the departments all the departments will be able to give you a more detailed analysis of what we have. But again, please understand that itong mga numero na sinasabi natin ay hindi pa tayo nakakatiyak dahil hindi natin nalalaman kung gaano katagal pa na mangyayari ito, gaano katagal pa bago babalik, gaano katagal pa yung presyo ng langis ay wala tayong control, as you well know, paano ang galaw niyan, saan pupunta yan. Kasama na rin dyan kung anong level ng dolyar. Yung peso naman di gumagalaw as of now, pero ang dolyar ang tinitignan din natin because our remittances are being sent to the Philippines in dollars. So that's the general gist of it. I will take a few questions and then I will leave it to the department secretaries to get in to give you whatever more detailed information that they can. Again, please understand that we cannot give you detailed information, very detailed information, not because we do not want to, but because we do not have it. And we cannot, hindi natin, ayaw namin manghula o mag-speculate, tapos mag-react ng mga tao, may gagawin, nasasabihin, it is worse than we thought, it is better than we thought. Mahirap magbigay ng mga speculative na especially the numbers. So, siguro wag na muna natin pag-usapan yung mga numero at kung gaano katagal ito. But we have, again, we are planning. So, meron tayong best case scenario, meron tayong worst case scenario. Nakaplano tayo paano natin tulungan ang ating mga kababayan na nasa abroad, lalo na sa mga Gulf countries. Paano sila maging ligtas, maging safe, paano sila mailabas kapag may pagkakataon na, at kung ano yung epekto dito sa ekonomiya natin, at kung alin ng mga sektor ang tatamaan, at kung anong maaring gawin ng pamahalaan para tulungan sila na hindi masyadong maramdaman itong mga pagbabago sa presyo ng langis at sa pag-adjust ng presyo ng langis up or down. Hopefully, it will come down to back the normal levels that we had previous to this war. All right, so I'll take 3 questions before I'll...
Thank you, Mr. President. We'll take 3 questions from the press corps related to the President's announcement. First question, Ivan? Rahi.
Good morning, sir. Rafi Ayeng from the Daily Tribune. Sir, are you calling for a ceasefire, just like any other leaders in the globe? I
will call for a ceasefire.
Are you requesting for a ceasefire at least?
It's not. We are not a party to any of this. Of course, we want the fighting to stop, but it's not the Philippines is not going to call for a ceasefire. The only people who can call for a ceasefire are those who are involved. We are only involved tangentially, if you want to call it that, because of our people who are there. So we have expressed support for the countries that have come under attack, and we have made our feelings known that we hope that this crisis ends as quickly as possible, and we are asking, of course, for their continued assistance for for the safety of our people. But let me do it now, if it will help. Let's hope that there is a ceasefire, and we, the Philippines, ask all parties to show restraint and to bring this to a close as quickly as possible.
Thank you, Mr. President. The next question from Ivan, GMA7.
Mr. President, with the expected oil price hikes in the coming weeks and disruption in the global supply chain, I think it's also a fair assumption na tataas din po ang presyo ng ibang mga consumer goods. Are there certain goods that we are bracing for, and what interventions are in place?
Well, it all depends on how long this lasts. Kasi kung matagal ito, doon mararamdaman. It takes a little while for these price shocks to go through the system bago maramdaman yung daily consumers na maramdaman nila sa presyo ng mga iba't ibang produkto. But because there will be, siyempre magkakaroon ng effect yan pero yung mga halimbawa, the only place where the transport has been disrupted is really in that area. So even if you think about it, yung mga barko na parating na rito, papunta, mag-deliver ng mga goods, they are still traveling towards here. So that's why I'm saying it will take time for any of the effects of the oil price shocks to work through the system. And of course, the prayer that we have is that before they work their way through the system, matapos na ito. So that hindi na masyadong maramdaman ng taong bayan.
Thank you, Mr. President. The last question will come from Ann Soberano from Radio Bombo.
Mr. President, good morning po. Mr. President, kung magtuloy-tuloy po ang pagtaas ng presyo ng crudo sa world market dahil sa tensyon sa Middle East, ano po ang contingency plan ng gobyerno sakaling magpatuloy ang pagtaas ng presyo ng crudo sa world market? Nabanggit nyo rin po kanina na magbibigay din po kayo ng subsidy sa fuel assistance sa mga sektor ng transport and agriculture. So sa harap po nito, Mr. President, posibleng sustained oil price shocks, paano po babalansehin ng inyong administrasyon ang energy security, price stabilization at fiscal sustainability?
Well, I explained a little bit kanina, naipaliwanag ko na ng kaunti yung aming na mga intervention kung tawagin. Kapag ito ay ang presyo ng langis ay lumampas na sa $80 per barrel. So, yun na nga yung sinasabi ko, magpo-provide tayo ng subsidy para sa ating yung mga sektor, sa sektor ng ekonomiya na talagang maapektuhan, na mabigat. At yun ang nabanggit ko ay number one, of course, the transport sector. At saka ang ating lahat ng gumagamit ng langis, but then, and that is of course that goes to everybody, but depending again on the price increases or decreases and the adjustments that will happen and how long those prices will be sustained or will last. Depende yan kung matagal. Kung masyadong matagal, iba yung gagawin natin. We are already looking into adjusting, hopefully, the excise tax on fuel, on the other elements na financially magagawa natin to lower the prices of other goods. But even in the worst case scenario, I think that we will be able to provide at least some support to those critical sectors, and I hope that this is something that we will not have to do. We are still hoping and we are still praying that this doesn't last too long, and I hope and pray that our people will remain safe and that we will be able to weather this very difficult storm that is become global in scope. Kaya't marami naman tayong hinahanda kung ang ating panalangin ay hindi mapabigyan at talagang patuloy pa rin ang labanan. Marami naman tayong mga interventions. The other thing that I missed is that we have given instruction and to all government offices to find ways to be more to save on energy. That applies, panawagan ko na rin ito sa taong bayan. Maghanap tayo ng paraan upang mabawasan ang ating paggamit ng lahat ng mga sources of energy natin. Ito ay hindi pa, kagaya ng sabi ko, sapat naman ang supply natin. Ngunit ay baka sakali, ito ay kakailanganin natin gawin ito upang mabawasan nga ang pagbayad dahil tataas nga ang presyo. At hindi lamang sana sa government offices, but we have issued a directive to all the government offices to find ways, to find ways to save energy in every ways. Yung mga unnecessary travel, yung mga carpooling, yung mga bagay-bagay na ganyan. And these are things that the general public can do. We encourage the use of public transport, private vehicles. Punuin naman ninyo yung sasakyan ninyo. Huwag yung isang tao lang ang gumagamit. All of these things can come together. We will give further guidance in terms of that. We will give further guidance. We will make public service announcements to make suggestions to people kung ano yung pwede pa nilang gawin para mabawasan ang kanilang paggamit ng energy. That is the situation as we have it right now. Thank you all for coming in on this for this very rapidly called press conference. Magandang umaga sa
Thank you
inyo
very
lahat.
much, Mr.
Thank you.
President. Malacanang Press Corps, thank you very much. That concludes our press conference this morning. Thank you.
Okay, puntahan natin si RH14, Let Narciso. Let.
May yan yung naging press briefing ni Pangulong Bongbong Marcos. Muli inulit ng Presidente, prioridad ang kaligtasan ng ating mga kababayan sa Middle East. Ang sabi niya ay patuloy na kumikilos yung mga attaché, embassies. May mga pinaplano daw na ruta kung paano ilalabas para dun sa mga gustong magpa-repatriate. Ang problema nga sa ngayon ay sarado ang airspace, pero patuloy na minomonitor ang sitwasyon. At ang sabi ni Presidente ay patuloy rin yung pakikipag-ugnayan dun sa mga host government. Ang payo niya dun sa ating mga kababayan doon ay sumunod sa mga alituntunin ng host government. At ayan, tinalakan niya rin yung posibleng epekto sa ekonomiya, lalo na doon sa presyo ng langis na inaasahan. Ang binabanggit, sapat naman yung supply sa ngayon. Aabot daw yan ng 50 to 60 days. Pero sa sandaling tumaas o umabot yung halaga ng crudo sa $80 ay ipatutupad na yung fuel subsidies para sa sektor ng transportasyon, sa mga sa agrikultura at sa mga mangingisda. So yan may panawagan rin ng Presidente ayan sa taong bayan.
Yes.
Maghanap ng paraan para mabawasan yung paggamit ng energy sources. Maglalabas daw sila ng further guidance dyan. Hindi lang sa government offices kundi mga suggestion ayan para sa ating mga kababayan para makatipid tayo sa dito sa paggamit ng langis. Okay?
Napakahalaga nung panawagan na yun, Let, ha? At nakikita naman nila yung planning stage ng government ay best and the worst scenario tinitignan talaga So para
kasi ayun nga yung binabanggit kasi kapag presyo ng langis ang tumataas, alam naman natin na apektado yung maraming apektado pati dun sa mga iba pang mga pangangailangan. Ang sabi ni Presidente, sa ngayon matatagal pa naman na maramdaman talaga yung epekto sa iba't ibang produkto, kaya umaasa na sana naman ay hindi na dumating yon at matapos na ito pumupa na yung tensyon doon sa gitnang silangan.
Oo, at yun ang panawagan niya para sa mga kinaukulang bansa pwede nang itigil na, 'di ba? Matigil na sa loob ng lalong madaling panahon. Yung tension.
Yun nga yung sabi ni Presidente, hindi siya mananawagan ng ceasefire kasi ang pwede lang gumawa nun ay yung mga involved
Yes.
Pero ipinahayag ayan ng Pilipinas na umaasang matapos na at ayan umaapela doon sa mga involved.
Okay, maraming salamat, Let. Thank you.
Update mula sa Malacanang, ito si Let Narciso para sa DZRH. Una sa Pilipinas, una sa Pilipinas.
Maraming salamat RH14 Let Narciso. So yan ang press briefing ng Pangulong Bongbong Marcos kaugnay po ng tensyon sa gitnang silangan. So inisa-isa niya lahat ng mga ginagawa ng gobyerno, ng mga gagawin pa at panawagan para sa lahat. Eto na yun. Dapat na tayong magtipid sa ating pong enerhiya. Anyway mga kaibigan, tayo po'y wala ng oras but anyway, meron po tayo sanang pasyente, 62 years old si Nanay Rose Abad Soriano. But anyway, Nanay Rose ay bibigyan ka namin ng tulong sapagkat si Nanay Rose nga po ay may breast cancer stage 3 at bukas pag-usapan natin yung kanya pong problema but in the meantime siguro Wina, bigay natin kay Nanay Rose yung donasyon mula po sa yung cash assistance mula sa ating donor Senator Lito Lapid na 2,000 pesos. Ayan, para makatugon dun sa kanyang pangangailangan lalo na po sa kanya pong na gamot na kailangan. And then of course yung mga pagpunta-punta sa ospital and another 3,000 pesos mula sa ating mga kuyang sa Lanaval Masonic Lodge. So, 5,000 pesos para kay Nanay Rose Abad Soriano, 62 years old, taga Naik, Cavite. Pansamantala po tayo magpapaalam. Sa pangalan ng buong pwersa ng DCRH News Center, DCRH Operation Tulong, and of course, APW na Pearl Hesoro at kay Ellen Jacinto. At Del Moro RHTV, ako naman may binauhan para sa DCRH, una pa rin sa Pilipinas, una sa Pilipino. Susunod na po, nabangan yung drama Love Story, Ikaw Lamang sa Buhay Ko. Babalik po ako mamaya alas 3 hanggang alas 4 ng hapon sa Public Service Hour.
Ang oras na yan ay